One of the biggest questions from investors is, do I put my money in real estate or do I put my money in the stock market? And I'm going to give you a scenario on how we actually use money in the stock market to leverage real estate. I'm going to give you an exact comparison between the actual quantity of what we have in the stock market and what the return on investment is. And I'm going to give you a handful. I can't go through all of our real estate transactions because we'll be here for hours and hours on end. But I'm going to give you some of the key components of real transactions and where we are and what they have bared in returns in comparison to the stock market as well. And allow each and every person that's watching depict what their outcome should be based on risk versus reward. And the reward has to be a financial reward, and the financial reward has to be substantial enough that it overbears the risk, right? How do you mitigate risk? Risk is mitigated in both real estate and stocks by knowledge. So either if you don't have the knowledge in stocks, you hire a broker or a financial advisor to help you with the stocks, and that helps mitigate risk. The ones in real estate, you hire an investment firm or you yourself learn how to underwrite projects. Now, let's talk about risk versus reward, and let's talk about which investment bears the best profits. So when we went in and started buying real estate in early 2000s, retail buildings, we won't even talk about single family homes, okay? I'll talk about single family homes in a different scenario towards the end of this video to give you a single family home perspective on ROI as well. But let's talk about commercial real estate right now. So one of the things that we started doing is we started buying multi-unit real estate, a lot of office warehouse, a lot of small retail strip centers, and multifamily. And so for sake of example, I go in and with a modest amount of money out of pocket, I go and pick up these physically distressed assets like in retail. And I pick up these retail buildings, and the retail buildings are always someplace in the neighborhood of about 10,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet on average. And I typically buy them through owner financing. So when I buy them through owner financing, maybe I'll put 10% down, and we're able to pick these assets up for well under $100 per square foot. And so even today, some of the transaction prices on some of these physically distressed assets are identical to what the transaction prices were 20 plus years ago. So where I would go in and purchase a 10,000 square foot building for $300,000, those assets are still out there and available today. And how I know this is because we still pick them up from time to time and utilize them as leverage for our crews to generate capital and make money on. Well, we're slow during the winter months. And so we go in, let's say we put $30,000 down on that property. Typically, we just gut it and we do a simple renovation. We gut it. It typically has to be built with block or brick, and that way the bones of the building are solid in spite of what it looks like. We'll typically gut it. We'll do a little bit of electrical work, upgrade the electrical a little bit in the units, and then just put a coat of paint on the inside to make them just look clean. And then on the outside, we put an exterior facade, spending an extra $60,000 to $100,000 in the whole renovation of these buildings. Now, the total cost outlay is $300,000 to $400,000, but the vast majority of that is actually owner financed at a low interest rate. And so when we go in and we purchase these, our out-of-pocket outlay is between $60,000, maybe $80,000, okay? So when you look at it from an $80,000 return on investment, we take an asset that the second we're done with this asset, 3 months into renovating, we lease it. And so if you take 10,000 square foot building, and let's say you have it broken down into 4 units, and each of those 4 units are renting for a very modest amount, guys, because we get more than this on the vast majority of our buildings, but at $2,000 per unit, that's $8,000 that you get in gross monthly income multiplied by 12. And when you multiply that by 12, you're going to get your gross income. And if we put all our expenses at maybe 20%, we're going to have about $70,000 in annualized income on that property, okay? Now, the value of that asset, if you just take a 5% cap rate on that, is going to be $1.4 million, guys. You took a $300,000 to $400,000 investment. Let's say you're $400,000 into it. The vast majority of that's owner finance. You have $80,000 into it, and you have a $1.4 million asset that you could sell in the open market and trade it for $1.4 million. Okay, that's a 3-month turnaround on that investment. Now, we keep a lot of these, they cash flow, so they actually have what we call infinite returns, because once that asset pays for itself, the returns are exponential. They continue to grow. So that bears you a $1.4 million profit. Okay, so that's one building. Now, we'll do that with multifamily. We'll build some of that stuff new. Now, when we talk about the single family assets, before we get into stocks, because one of the biggest things, when you invest in commercial assets, we have over 1 million square feet of retail. So in that 1 million square feet of retail, we've spent several millions of dollars in these assets. But let's take, for example, if you just go out and you buy 5 of these buildings and you spend $80,000 on every one of these buildings, okay? You spend $80,000 out of pocket times 5, that's $400,000 out of pocket. And we've done this before, and we've done this in our real estate, and we're doing it right now, and we own these properties, right? So how do I know that the ROI is going to be exactly this? Because I'm doing it extremely conservative and extremely modest in comparison to what we actually get in returns on the investments that we make. So $400,000 investment times 5. Now, if we have $1.3 million minus the $400,000 per asset that we put in there, that's $900,000 times 5. That's $4.5 million in upside equity. You take $900,000 in upside equity, you multiply that times 5, and that's $4.5 million. That $4.5 million is not your gross asset value. That's just your upside value on what you created with a $400,000 investment. Now, most of that's in retail, that is in multifamily and other asset classes that are in the market that are well and vastly needed in today's market. Now, let's look at this from a single family home perspective. On every single family home that we've ever built, we have built them cash. So it's a working capital that's working and is continuously revolving. So the way that we look at this on return on investment is by a multiplier. So when we go in and we look at it from a single family home perspective, once you've went in and every single house that we built in the vast majority of our professional career has bared between $110,000 and $170,000 net proceeds. And so our homes always sit in the upper middle class. So when we're investing, we biasly depict where we're going to build it. In this exact area, I own lots just right up the street over here. I still own land in this area. This area has been built out now for many years. We were building in this area for the last 27 plus years on this exact same land that I'm standing on right now. We get the bank to pay for them, okay, when we go in and get construction loans. So it's not money out of pocket. Now, we create the value and the equity we create in the land. So you can essentially come in with about maybe $20,000, $30,000 out of pocket per build and generate about $250,000 in net profits is what we typically do. Now, when we go in, when we purchase this type of land that we're standing on right now, which we've owned this type of land, we've been building in these areas for over 25 plus years, we'll pick up this land originally at over $150,000 per lot. We'll build out for about $500,000 on the house. That's $650,000 investment, and we'll sell the houses for in excess of $900,000. Now, with that said, we'll make $250,000, $300,000 on every single build, and our capital outlay is typically about $650,000, and we'll revolve that capital. And every single year, provided we're doing 5 to 6 month builds, we'll turn that capital 2 times in 1 year. So even if it costs us $600,000, we're turning that revenue twice in 1 year to generate about $500,000 to $600,000 profit. So we're getting a 100% return on our investment annualized, and that capital continues to work for us ongoing. So the reason that we use our own money to build houses is because we don't get cussed by the banks for underwriting. We're able to move through these builds really quick. And so nonetheless, we'll go in and we'll turn that capital. And so if you do a multiplier of that times 4 every single year, you'll make $1 million a year, between 1 million and 1.2 million, turning $1.2 million and just revolving it. Or not even turning your own money, utilizing the bank's money and revolving their capital to be able to generate you profits. Now, there's a place for stocks, and I'm going to go over where it is, and let's talk about the return on investment. Now, we put in 2002, we put about $500,000 into stocks. About 2004, we put about another $1 million in there. And then about 2008, we probably had about $3 million in stock market, okay? Now, since 2008, we've taken the growth of those, and we've only kept our stocks at right around a $5 to $6 million mark, and we've held it at $5 to $6 million. Now, annualized, we'll make about 12% return on average on our investments since 2002, when we started really investing in stocks to hold them. We were margin trading, day trading, doing that type of stuff pre 9/11. And then March of 2002, the stock market crashed. Everything we're trading on margin got forced sales, and we lost almost 100% of everything that we were trading. So we had to start all over again in March of 2002 and began investing in stocks from ground floor. Now, so even at $5 million, we take $5 million annualized at a 12% return, which is abnormal returns. We have our risk factor up a little higher. Plus, we only invest in dividend-paying stocks. So multiply times 0.12, that's a $600,000 return annualized. Okay, still a great return. Now, you do that over the course of a few years, let's call it 10 years, that's a $6 million return on your investment. So it takes 10 years for you to double your money, okay? And so when we talk about stocks, the growth is substantially slower. Now, does that mean that you go all in on real estate? I always keep money in the stock market, always. I'll always keep that $6 million in the stock market. And here's why. Because I can go in and that same money, if we have $6 million in the stock market and we multiply it times 12%, times 0.12, we make that's $720,000 a year. So we make between $600,000 and $720,000 a year, okay? Now, because I'm not at retirement age, I don't need to draw on it. We just allow that to continue to grow. And that's how we've really grown our stocks. It started with a base of $2-3 million that over the course of time has built to $6 million in there. And I'll tell you guys that it's still a great cash flow, right? You can go in and get $65,000 a month just on our money that's in the stock market. Great returns. But the way we leverage this is I have $6 million sitting there that's working for me only one way. So what I do is I go in and put a line of credit together against my stocks. So I could take 80% of that $6 million. So if I go in and I take 80% of that $6 million times 0.8, I have a line of credit for $4.8 million. And that's why I say I have $5 million in it, because I have about $5 million that I can use. And so I have a $4.8 million line of credit. And what's cool about that line of credit, when I got my statement yesterday, I pay 6.8% on that money. So on that $4.8 million, $4,800,000 times 0.0618, that's $296,000 in annualized interest to borrow against that money. Now with that, I can't go to a bank and get that type of loan on a line of credit. It'll cost me closer to 18%, 20% if they'll give me a $5 million line of credit. And so I can utilize my own money and I still make about 5.5% return on my money. So even if I borrow against my money temporarily, I can go in and if I have $6 million in there times 0.055, I still make $330,000 a year on my money, while I still can make my money work for me while that money still sits in the stock market. So I have $330,000 a year I'm still making in passive income from my stock sitting in there, and I still have access to $4.8 million of the $6 million that I can leverage to go out and buy a piece of land cash until I get a bank loan and I replenish my money and pay it back to the bank and then use it again. And so I'm able to execute quick. So the reason that I love stocks is the fact that I can go in, I can leverage against my stocks, borrow against it really quick. It only takes me 24 hours to get a loan against my stocks because I have the line of credit already set up, and I'm able to get my leverage very cheap, inexpensive rate while my money continues to work for me in the stock market as I leverage against it to go out and buy other assets, giving me the capabilities of earning money two ways. So I'll tell you guys right now, invest in some stocks, but only keep maybe about 10% of what you're generating in the stock market. Allow it to grow over the course of time. It's going to be a great tool for you. But put your efforts, put your time, and put your investments into real estate, because long term, if you weigh the two against each other, you're going to see the scales of balance is real estate wins with active income. And stocks will always produce, they'll always give you a return, and they're a great place to be a tool. But stocks always win, provided that you're active, you're working, you learn how to mitigate risk, you understand real estate, and you have somebody that's helped you educate and perform in the market to take advantage of opportunities no matter where they come from in the real estate sector. Now, for more information on how to crush it in real estate and get information just like this to understand our business model, how we've created wealth through the means of real estate and utilized other assets in business as a tool to scale, click and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, comment below and let me know how you're going to set up your portfolio as you scale, grow, and build for financial wealth long-term in life, and go out and compound your success.